last week we got a Good Times reference, and now we're getting a Breaking Bad spoof. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. So what's going on, guys? Senju-san here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a review for Season 4, Episode 3 of the Boondocks, obviously, entitled Breaking Granddad, which is like I said, it's a Breaking Bad spoof episode. And so it starts out with Robert, and he basically catches Huey making a bomb, and Huey ends up telling him that, this is for my science project. It's hair gel. And so when Granddad goes out, when he's about to go out and take this girl out on a date, he ends up putting the hair relaxer and stuff, or he ends up putting the bomb gel in his hair. It ends up growing. You guys obviously have seen the preview. And I gotta say, this episode was executed definitely a lot better than last week's episode. It was also a lot more funny. Funnier. Sorry. It was a lot funnier than the previous two episodes. And even though, I saw a preview of this episode a few weeks back, even before Season 4 even launched, because my friend ended up giving me a link to it on YouTube. So like a few of Riley's lines close near the end, the one where he's like, that's not just gay, that's homosexual. That joint cracked me up. I ended up watching that scene like 2 or 3 times before, so the sting of the joke wasn't really there at this point of me watching it last night, and then I watched it again so I could really absorb the episode for this review. So the sting wasn't there, but then again, I'm gonna count it toward the episode because it was a good joke. There were a lot of good jokes in there. Again, I wasn't really rolling around laughing, like my sides weren't hurting or anything from uncontrollable laughter or anything. But it was a lot funnier episode. Again, I'm not gonna try to say anything like. I guess, starting with this review, I'm not going to judge these episodes on, comparing them to seasons 1 and 2, which are very widely held. I'm not going to start comparing them because I don't think it would be right to really judge this show really on the merits of the first 2 seasons, especially at this point when we know that the main creator, one of the main minds behind most of those episodes, isn't there anymore, and we already know the quality isn't going to be up to snuff. But like I said, this episode was a lot better. Again, it's not season 1 and 2 quality. It's not what we're used to, but they're taking the show in a different direction, and I'm noticing that now. It's sort of, since we have this continuous storyline, it's sort of more for entertainment than almost trying to be funny. I mean, there were a few jokes here and there, and for some people it's not gonna land. Like, I can literally go a whole episode without laughing. Like, I might just force of laughter, like I was explaining in the last video, where sort of force yourself to laugh because you want to be enjoyed. Like, you want to enjoy the show and everything, or you might just snicker a little bit of times, and I did that with this episode. But for like entertainment purposes, it does its job. It was a spoof of Breaking Bad. It had all the sort of Breaking Bad scenes from the first episode. When Walter goes to the end of the road and everything, and he's holding the gun out, or when he goes to where he gets the cancer diagnosis, and he's like staring at the dude, and he's like sort of out of it and everything, except for in this case, Robert is being told about his credit cards and his credit issue and everything, with money issues. So this show, this episode really does a good job at spoofing the first episode of Breaking Bad. So it does that well. One of the new characters in this episode, Boss Walona, I feel like, even though she really is a one-note character, literally, since if you saw the episode, I'm not going to spoil anything, but yeah, she's a one-note character. Like I was saying with the Good Times episode, this stuff ain't gonna be memorable, guys. Like, you're gonna literally forget about this stuff in a few days or weeks. Like, you're not gonna go back to this a few years from now and this character is gonna be stuck in your head, or this episode's not gonna be too memorable for you guys. But again, it was a lot better. I'm gonna keep saying this. It was a lot better than the other two episodes, I gotta say. So now we finally figure out that the guy in the promo wasn't not Gangsterlicious. The other dude, Dougnificent. The guy wasn't Dougnificent. It was actually some gay dude. I can't remember if they actually gave this dude a name. But Riley's reaction when the dude tried to kiss him, when they were taking when the dude tied him up and everything, it was priceless. Yeah. So we now know that wasn't Dougnificent. I'm like, yeah, because when I was looking at the preview, I'm like, that don't even really look like the dude. But yeah. So that's basically been resolved. So we still haven't seen Dougnificent. Still haven't seen Gangsterlicious. We still haven't seen these characters yet. So hopefully we'll see them later down the line. We got a preview for the other episode that's coming up. In that episode, I'm starting to think that they, after this episode, it was like I said, it was a lot entertaining. It was very entertaining. Excuse me. It was very entertaining, but yeah, not on the same quality of funny that season 2, season 3. I mean season 1, season 2. But I'm like I said, I'm going to stop at after this review. I'm going to stop comparing it to the past few seasons, because it ain't gonna be there. It's not gonna be on that level. But I'm just wondering if the next episode, if we're gonna see a pimp named Slipback. I mentioned just a few seconds ago, Dougnificent. We haven't seen these characters. We haven't seen these characters again. So, we've already seen what has happened to Ruckus at this point. And speaking of Ruckus, one of the last scenes in this episode cracked me up. This dude literally has I don't know how many jobs. This dude's a fireman now. It's I'm gonna reduce your pay, Robert. Oh man, it was just so random. Moments like that. Now that was perfectly placed, because what happened in the Breaking Bad show. I know a lot of people have seen it. The fire trucks and everything, they all pass Walter, and at this point you don't expect nobody there, on the fire truck and everything. That scene right there, that was funny. That was executed well, where they placed them at a moment where all this stuff has just happened, and now we need something to break the tension. And here comes Ruckus. Again, Ruckus is a character that just about every episode he's gonna find at least one thing funny to get everyone cracking up. So I gotta say again, this episode was good. I do wonder, like I was about to say, I do wonder when they're gonna show us some other characters, when they're gonna bring characters that we already know about back, because we've already seen how Ruckus has changed in the past few years. And so it's time to see how these other characters have changed. And with since they're trying to bring this whole storyline aspect to it, since it's not every episode is a different sort of thing anymore, and since this is just a straight storyline, I think it would do them, I think it would be in the show's best interest, especially for next week's episode, with the theme of it being, Robert basically hoeing himself out. If we don't get a pimp named Slipback in there, then this show, I don't know what they were thinking, because it would be perfect for the episode. They don't get Cat Williams to reprise his role as the pimp named Slipback for that episode, then I don't know, because it'd be freaking perfect for the episode. I don't know what they would be thinking if they didn't put the guy in there. I mean, it's Cat Williams. He could bring a lot a lot of funny moments to the show that is pretty much desperately needed at this point. Because again, I wasn't rolling around laughing last night. I don't know, I was talking about this to my friend, and I was like, am I having too high of an expectation for this? Am I living in the past? Am I expecting just way too much out of the show? Was it really that good in the past that it made me laugh that much? That I'm comparing it, now, and I'm seeing it's not making me laugh that much. I mean, yes, it's entertaining. Again, I'm gonna say it. It's entertaining. It was a better episode, but not in that quality. But again, like I said, I don't know what they're gonna be doing for the next week's episode. I don't even think that thing is gonna be funny at all. I think it's gonna kind of be retarded, but we'll see. If they put a Pimp Name Slip back in it, then it might have a chance of being a solid episode. But let me know what you guys think about this episode. I thought it was okay. I thought it was a lot better. Again, I said that like 3 times during this review, but yeah, it was a lot better than the other 2 episodes. I gotta stress that because, yeah, with the first one being a retread and the second one just having these references to good times and the thing just splashed everywhere. The theme song being splashed every 3 seconds. Well, not really literally every 3 seconds, but the execution wasn't too good on it. But like I said, I have hope for this season. I'm gonna try to maintain that hope. We still have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We probably have like 7 more episodes left. I could be bad on my math right here, but good. Like we have a pretty long season ahead of us. Well, sorta. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think about this episode. Like the video. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.